Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of depression. Gacha games.
Arknights.
Blue Archive.
Genshin Impact.
You're watching Disney. Welcome to Blue Archive. You seek bitches. By the end of this, you will have acquired you roleplay as
A doctor, a qualified professional somehow, and you have
Johnny Sins, a Catholic priest.
you already have depression.
Here we ignore Twitter. In Blue Archive, you are the only man, apparently.
In this game, you collect gods, weaker gods, dogs, and the mentally ill, and possibly children. You are apparently the most qualified individual for this. But just because you're weak, unqualified, inexperienced, and are useless in a fight does not mean that you can succeed, because that's why we have
Destiny 2. You have raids, you have dungeons, you have the Crucible, which is
sure about that?
Blue Archive.
You cannot knock it for the character designs. The character designs are always amazing, no matter what. There's no bad outfit a character's gonna get, because guess what? Blue Archive, Arknights, Genshin Impact, gacha in general is not about the meta. It's about whatever gets you going. And this art here, this design here.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
You see, the game has a tutorial to introduce you to things and words to tell you things, but if you're a true dumbass like me, you'll ignore every one of those things called words, like being as broke in-game as you are in real life. So allow me, as a man with far too much time on his hands, to tell you, Mizuki's armpits are very soft. Despite the intimidating size of this game, subscribe and like the video for more content like this. Do you like money? Do you like gacha? Well, do I have some good news for you? Arknights has a great Genshin Impact. Seek endgame content. I thought it was all going to be based around the jiggle physics of the game.
Blue Archive puts you into the shoes of an average American teacher where you have a crippling gambling addiction both in-game and in real life. Then there's swimsuits, handcuffs, sweat, leashes, cats, and food.
Judgmental stares at your family as they watch you spend hundreds of dollars on a free-to-play game for 2D characters. Watch them commit genocide at an alarming rate. You play as the Traveler, a being who apparently played way too much Skyrim because they will get sidetracked and dragged into every single possible distraction and questline. This is what I was referring to. Yet everyone trusts you to lead them through battlefields because apparently all your patients are also suicidal.
These are gacha games. Whether it's Nikkei, Blue Archive, Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact, Destiny 2, War Thunder, whether it's your time or your money, they will take everything from you. Whether you're a teacher, doctor, captain, commander, or just horny, these games have it all. If you're a dumbass like me, you'll play all of them and then regret your life choices, because this is Genshin Impact. In this game, you will play as your father because everything you produce is nothing more than a disappointment, except instead of going to get milk, you live with your failures. Your artifacts bad, your luck bad, these rates awful, yet you'll stick around in the hopes that everything will eventually get better, and it won't. It's like a bad relationship. Speaking of relationship, understand
What is the ticket supposed to do?
What about Arknights? As you can see here, I actually do make quite a lot of Arknights content, and I've talked about this game a lot, and guess what? I hate a couple things about it, but there's pretty good lore in the game if you are willing to read, and if you aren't willing to read, then suffer like me. And don't. Just complain and move about your way. The game has gacha. Are you a gacha fan? Do you like not having money? Then Arknights is the game for you. Just go for potential 6 on every limited banner, and you will have nothing left. Or try to understand the lore behind every single character in the game. Don't worry, there's not that many, just over 200. Gotta catch them all, huh? Or be like me, simp for characters. It doesn't matter if Ansel may or may not be a man. It doesn't matter if Mizuki is also technically a boy. Because
sometimes it takes a real man to become best girl.
But that's enough about Arknights. Next is Blue Archive, a game that excels in enriching the minds of every individual who plays it.
It is quite well documented that hentai is an art form that rivals the likes of Picasso, Andy Warhol.
It is right there. Look at that. Look at it right. It's there. I didn't think she was getting one. I was sitting there forever like, you know what, she's not gonna get one for a while. Every student has a gun. Everyone has a gun except you, because you don't fight.
He's kinda gay.
If you're a Blue Archive player, the best advice I can give you is to get high, and I mean really high. Like smoke that shit so hard you are no longer on this planet. Because then you can ignore the more confusing aspects of the game without delving deep into the lore. Like, why do some of them have wings? Why do others have horns? What about the tails? What are they exactly? Where did all the men go? And if they're gone, then why are these people still being born? Or maybe you are high, and just high enough to understand the level of complexity this game offers. Unless you count this robot. But Blue Archive puts you in the shoes of the average American teacher, where everyone around you is more armed and dangerous than you are. You have 0 qualifications, 0 skills, no money. You're basically unemployed. This might as well be a charity. And you have crippling addiction.
What did you say, nigga?
Are you sure about that?
Game where you avoid drama, depression, questionable accusations, horny e-domains, or you're free to play, in which case you already have depression. Good job of being ahead of the curve, because your sibling will wait for you and keep on waiting until you ultimately have no choice but to do that one quest you've been avoiding for the past 7 days. But that's okay, because once you're done with the quest, you can fight the real boss, RNG. What, you thought I was gonna say gacha? No, the real boss of this game is Artifacts, the most brutal and difficult boss of them all.
You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Oh yeah! Look at you! You was popping all that good shit a second ago!
Play general style and character models are pretty nice, really detailed surprisingly. The English voice acting is actually pretty good. I was expecting something lower quality and I'm surprised by how nice it was. Simp for Azuna, but she is still nonetheless my favorite character in Blue Archive. Also, her swimsuit design is still amazing. Like, have you seen it? Look at it. Just want to remind you of that. Like, my god.
Foxes. Talk about Azuna in Blue Archive. I talk about Wakamo occasionally. There's Suzerain in Arknights, who's the primary one I'm going to focus on. Azur Lane is a game where you simp for ships. 1 ship, 2 ship, red ship, blue ship. And I'm not talking about shipping. That's an entirely different subject. Though that is also incredibly popular with Azur Lane.
We all know it's not incest anyway if you shout no chromo.
Azur Lane is the be-all end-all of gacha games. If you thought Blue Archive and Arknights art community were bad, you have not played Azur Lane. It's not the art community. The game itself is an art community. It is driven entirely by Twitter. Have you seen the skins? They're not outfits because there's barely any clothes to begin with. It's like Nikkei, but 10 times worse, and 5 times more bold. Not that I'm complaining given the designs of these characters, or how much content is available in the game, or how many units you can get just from rolling. If you're starting out, there's a ton of units you can grab, and ultimately it makes the gacha feel extremely nice. Especially if you're like me and you like to ignore every mechanic and every tutorial taught to you. Meanwhile, you have Fate Go holding the record for the eldest gacha game on this list that I've mentioned thus far, being released in 2015, and still going strong. Most likely due to how confusing the Fate franchise is. And considering just how many characters there are, the art community is probably propping this one up as well. An adequate judge of a gacha game or a character is just how much art is drawn of them. So basically, if you see no art for Raid Shadow Legends, you know it's not a good game. And with so many new gacha games on the horizon, we'll see just how large the art community booms then. But with the rising popularity of Genshin Impact, the Arknights anime, and Honkai Impact being the elder sister to Genshin itself, we're very unlikely to see a decline in any of these games, especially given the fact that every gacha game is basically just a front for a music company. And so with all that being said, should you play any of these games? If you have self-control, yes, it's not worth it to spend money on these games, which is why you should give it to me, and I will spend it responsibly. Remember, these games are free and so is the porn. So if you don't have self-control, don't play them. I would like to thank the kind viewers or individuals who got high during this video and forgot to turn it off for finding the growth and success of my addiction-based channel. And if you too would like to assist, consider hitting the button down below.